Hello, Collective. Elsie here to do a reading. It is for, well, just all of you. The whole lot of you. We'll find out what's going on here. Let's just throw some cards and see what sort of energies are out there. Collective, how you doing? Thank you so much for showing up here. If you are brand new, I throw these readings once in a while. I do a lot of readings that are sign specific, and sometimes it's nice just to let my energy go, my intuition go, and just read the cards as they fall instead of having to keep track of signs. Let's find out what's going on for the collective. Tell me what's going on for the collective and the collective energies, please. Somebody has made a choice that they want more than just to own land or own a home, or it feels like they want more than what they have right now. And they've made a choice to see the world or to travel. It feels like they've also made a choice with the Ten of Cups that somebody here wants to be happy. They're choosing happiness here. Somebody's choosing happiness and they're making a plan as to how they're going to get it. All right. Tower's here. There has to be a change. There has to be a shift in thinking. There has to be a shift in emotions. We've got Gemini, Pisces, Aries, and Scorpio. The devil is here, but first I need to release some things. So it does feel like the devil here. It feels like somebody is leaving a bunch of stuff behind. I don't know who that is, but it feels like somebody is detaching from, sometimes when you accumulate too much, like we see a king standing on the top of the castle, right? Sort of surveying the land, wondering where I should go next. I own all of it. I can go anywhere. We've got the globe there. Maybe they're going to travel. Maybe they're ready for adventure. But it feels like somebody feels as though what they own owns them. And I think that somebody is, that there is a tower that is showing up here to help somebody break away from whatever had them bound. Feels like the tower is here to free somebody from whatever had them bound. Tell me what this plan is here. Somebody's making a plan because they're choosing happiness. They're choosing happiness over the stuff they own, the land they own. It feels like somebody here is choosing to be happy, and they're feeling like they've come to a realization that I would rather have love, or I would rather have connection or a soulmate than have things that, the things that I own me. So somebody here is living in a big house they can't afford, or they're keeping up with appearances. They own a car, they can't really afford the payments, or it feels like they're spending too much on trying to impress the people around them. Somebody here is making a plan to break free, and I feel like the tower is here to help do that. Somebody's life is crumbling around them, but I think it's because somebody makes a decision to do so, that somebody has decided, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I've got the Five of Wands. It took a long time to make that decision. It was something that they were very defensive about. They held back from it for a long time. King of Cups. And the Ace of Swords. Very interesting. Someone here has had a revelation or clarity about what they really want. It feels like somebody here was fronting is what it feels like. I'm going to say it feels like somebody here was, showing everybody what they had, showing everybody they were in charge. It's like they were puffing their chest out and saying, this is what I have. And I don't think that underneath they really felt happy. They felt chained to it. They felt like they had become codependent on it. And so the challenge is to get out of my fire energy or my ego and to get into my emotional energy, which is the King of Cups. The Ace of Swords is, it's a revelation or a realization that I was in a tug and pull with myself for a really long time. It feels like somebody here with the Five of Wands was, you can see somebody was like in a tug and pull, like in indecision. I don't know which way I want to go. And so it made them feel very defensive or feel like they were trapped. But I feel like somebody has been making a plan. Tell me about the plan. We're going to go back to this in a minute. Tell me about the plan. I'm just going to go where my intuition does. Tell me what the plan is here. Somebody's making a decision to take action after being very dormant or dulled. It's like their passions were dulled. It's like, but I'm a fire sign. And they're like, yeah, but you've got all this stuff that's keeping you in your cage. They have a lot of passion that they want to show, and it's time for them to go on an adventure. What's this? We've got the Five of Pentacles. Yeah, they felt very cut off. So it feels like they felt very, very cut off. Yeah, holding back, worried. It really does feel like this, whatever was attached to them, which I feel is probably wealth, riches. And I'm not saying that it's always a trap, because there's something to be said for the freedom that money, wealth, and well-managed wealth will give you. But it feels like this person allowed, through... they allowed their ego to take over. And that's where the problem starts. The problem isn't that you have a lot of money and wealth and all of that stuff, privilege through money. That's not the problem. The problem is that you allow it to take over. And so somebody here allowed it to take over and give them some sort of an ego. And now they're realizing that when the tower came down and things began to crumble around them, it's like somebody's going through some type of an awakening. Tell me about the Ace of Swords. There's a realization going on here that I would rather not be in competition for love, and I don't want to hold back anymore from the deep love that I know is out there for me. We've got the Nine of Cups, we've got the Eight of Cups, and we've got the Ten of Wands. So it became very heavy for this person, and I feel like they're about to release it and walk away. So they might have property somewhere, and maybe they're just going to rent the property and walk away from it. It feels like somebody here is emotionally detaching from the things that were keeping them bound. It feels like they would rather be happy than be stuck on the roof of their castle, if you know what I mean. It's metaphorical, right? Rather than being stuck on the roof of their castle, they would rather be emotionally happy, even if that was by themselves. It's a revelation that they're having with the Ace of Swords here. A realization or sort of a download moment here that they want to be emotionally available, that they would rather spend their lives with somebody. Tell me about the King of Cups. It does feel like here with the Lovers here that this person is choosing happiness over everything else. We've got the High Priestess. We've got the Three of Swords. They haven't been listening to their intuition. They have been living a life of material wealth. And this person, I think, is quite wealthy, that they've been living a life of material wealth. And that's, like I said, that's not a bad thing. But I'm saying that it overtook their life is what it feels like. And so I feel like they realized at the end of the day with the Ten of Wands that they were burnt out, like really heavily weighed down emotionally, that they weren't happy, that it was, the Nine of Cups, being alone and building everything by myself wasn't making me happy. It was making me feel very emotionally heavy. And so I feel like somebody is now releasing some things, walking away, detaching from the things that were emotionally holding them down. The High Priestess tells me this person was, maybe they didn't have a lot of people around them, but I think it's because we're looking at ego. It feels like that person was maybe hard to be around. Maybe they shoved their wealth in other people's faces. Tell me about the Devil. What's the Devil here? Devil and the... I think this is like when the Devil shows up with the Tower, this is unbearable. This is an unbearable awakening. This is the kind where you're like in the fetal position on the floor throwing up into a bucket. This is really a really hard awakening. Tell me about this. The World card is in the reverse. Yeah. The Magician is in the reverse. Oh, Oh boy, somebody's having a wild breaking open here. They've realized that they have been manipulated by the ways of the world, is what it feels like. The world is in the reverse, and the magician is in the reverse. Magician in the reverse for me is manipulation. I need to get rid of the manipulation. So this person has been living with a block. They chose not to see what was going on in their life, and they thought that living their life the way that they were, whatever that was, it wasn't making them happy. But they were doing it because other people were saying, boy, are you ever lucky? What a nice car. What a nice suit. What a nice, you got beautiful women on your arm all the time, or you got beautiful men on your arm all the time. But I think it was because of what they had accumulated in terms of wealth. And now they realized that the Ace of Pentacles is here with the Three of Swords. That yes, I have built wealth and I can invest in anything that I want, but it's broken my heart and I have no one to talk to. This person is suffering in silence, essentially. And I know you can say, oh, boo-hoo, right? But nonetheless, I feel like someone's coming to a realization here. So I feel like this person has been manipulated by, all the things that are out there that can manipulate us, right? That when somebody else has it, you got to have it. That's why there's influencers on TikTok that are selling all kinds of stuff. That's why there's influencers on YouTube selling all sorts of things, right? Is because they want you to buy the things, not only so they can make money, but that's what the consumerism wants, right? They want you to keep buying things. So I feel like there's a big tower here, and somebody's realizing that life is passing them by and that they've got a lot of work to do. And I tell you, sometimes that's the way it happens, that you set yourself up in a great house with a great car, and you're dating, and you're buying things and going out all the time, but when you get home, you go home to your big house by yourself. And so that's what this feels like. It feels like that somebody here has been very alone, brokenhearted, crying on their pile of money is what it feels like. And I giggle about it. Look, I'm not laughing at you, okay? Like, I feel like it's somebody who's having some sort of masterful awakening here, that they want to, not got to, but they want to let go of some things. Tell me why the devil's here. We've got the Four of Cups. We've got the Moon card. They got into a comfort zone is what it was. And they got really out of touch with reality. They didn't realize how much they were hurting themselves. And it made them become very defensive. It feels like somebody has been doing this for a long while. Things weren't as they seemed. They built an illusion, because the moon can be illusion, but who's the illusion destroyer? That's the Tower. So they had built themselves an illusion, which had caused a lot of ego. And it feels like this person is now realizing that they no longer are interested in living that way. That it's not bad to have money, right? It's not bad to have choices and options, but it feels like somebody here is walking away. Walking away. Why is that? Tell me about the Eight of Cups. We've got the Nine of Pentacles. We've got the Six of Wands, and we've got the Hanged Man, because now I've got a different perspective. And the perspective is, I had too much ego. Is what it feels like. I feel like somebody here is looking for love now. It feels like they've realized that human connection is what they actually want. And this person is stable and sturdy. They have enough money. They've had their glow up. They look really good. They've got all those things. The only thing that they don't have in their life is the love of a soulmate, or somebody that they want to build a family with. Or it feels like that is what we're looking at here. Somebody here has decided through perspective, and the perspective is, I had a lot of ego and a lot of money, but not a whole lot of anything else. Tell me, because I feel like it's somebody here who would rather be in their King of Cups energy. It's like somebody who had everything they needed, but they were never taught how to be emotionally aware, emotionally available. Tell me what happens next. Three of Cups, Page of Cups, Knight of Swords. I realize I have to have a new beginning. It's time for me to find a soul tribe. It's time for me to get out and be social and be with people. Someone is realizing that that there is a soulmate that they want to have a reconciliation with here. It feels like somebody is going to be reaching out to you, collective. This person, it feels like they have unfinished business with you, And they feel as though they were manipulated into some sort of a block. And their block became their comfort zone. And the illusion was they were actually in pain. Actually, with the Nine of Wands, they were hurting. They were in a lot of pain, and that's why they were holding back. And they were actually quite lonely, possibly missing you, thinking about the happiness that they could have had in the Lover's card here. Somebody who is now finally making this decision. But now that they've made the decision, everything begins to fall apart for them. They're going through some hellscape of an awakening here. As everything, they're losing everything or selling everything. It feels like there's unfinished business, and they feel like they've been manipulated by someone possibly, or something. Oh, you know what's really interesting is the only one that we have out here is the King of Cups. We don't really have any other court cards out here, do we? Well, except for the pages, but that's very interesting. So look, I could be talking about someone who's a Leo. Could be talking about a Gemini, Pisces, Scorpio, Capricorn, Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, Leo, Gemini or Aries, Virgo, Pisces. Yeah, more Pisces, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, already said that. Gemini, Aquarius likely. It does feel like some sort of judgment is coming really quickly. And somebody here does feel as though they want a new romantic connection or a new emotional connection. And so it feels like they are now going to ask for some sort of reconciliation, because the Judgment card is here, so is the Three of Cups. It feels like they're going to start reaching out to old friends, and I feel like you're one of those friends. Like, you could be the person that was going through all of this transformation, but I feel like you could also be one of the people that this person has gone through all of this, and maybe that's why they've been off on their own, or you've been wondering what's been going on with them. It could possibly be it. But it feels like there's a reconciliation that is coming up with a soulmate, and there's a communication that's coming, and it's coming in pretty quick, pretty aggressive, and probably around the corner within the next day to a month, it feels like here. But there is a somebody here is making a lot of sacrifices because it became very heavy for them to carry being alone in their emotions. Just listening. Yeah, someone was really suffering in the silence. Someone here feels as though they gave up an opportunity to be in a long-term relationship. It's like somebody chose material wealth over emotional happiness. And I feel like this person gets a lot of attention from people because they look really good, like they're probably really attractive. But they don't want any of those people that are attracted to them. Because their perspective, I feel, is life is in a pause. They're burnt out with fighting off people with a stick. And I feel like the kinds of people that they're meeting are people who are also in ego. Because when you're up on the horse here, right? High horse, it feels like this person is in the spotlight and gets a lot of attention. But I think that it becomes very tiresome or burns them out. I feel like this person, their revelation is that they'd rather have inner happiness, and that they are really looking for some sort of deep connection. If this is you I'm talking about, there is a deep connection coming in. There is some sort of new connection coming in, but you got to get out and be social, is what it is. But this could also mean that somebody here that you haven't heard of from in a while, collective, is somebody who might be reaching out to you as well and asking you to go out. It feels like somebody's getting some sort of communication, and it feels like something here is already dead and gone, but we're going to resurrect it. Somebody here is showing up because there's unfinished business, and they feel like they were manipulated by someone else. It could be another connection that they were manipulated by. It could be that. Yeah, because the Five of Pentacles is here with the Two of Wands, so they might have chose someone else, or they chose a life with this person, but they may have chosen it out of ego, understand? Because maybe they looked good with this person, or everybody said you two look great together. Like, it feels like it was a very hollow victory. What else do we need to know here? What do we need to close with here? What do we need to know? Two of Pentacles, decision has been made here. Somebody's feeling terrible. These two people have their backs to each other. So you and this person have your backs to each other. You're not talking right now. And I think that it's regretful and sad. It feels like somebody has realized, made a decision that I could have been with the collective. I could have been fostering a relationship, but I think this person was running in fire. I don't think up until now they didn't have this emotional intelligence that they have now. But I feel like you let them go because, I mean, what can you do, right? You didn't want to do anything. I feel like somebody here doesn't want to wait. They want to have some sort of reciprocal energy. They want to gain some sort of stability or excitement or happiness, or maybe invite you over, or try and get you to invite them over. It feels like there is somebody here that you haven't seen in a really long while, and they are going to come forward here and try and get your attention. But it feels like it's been a while. It feels like it's been a long while, actually. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that right there. Thank you so much for being here and watching. Didn't make sense to me, but I hope it makes sense to you. I'm going to go for now, but I'll be back because I'm always back. You guys take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.